Hey there, Carrie Dills here, and today I want to show you how to set up the Winning Agent Pro theme to look like the demo. And when I'm talking about the demo, I mean the demo theme site that's just filled with some dummy content but shows you how the theme looks. So for instance, we've got our site title in the upper left, our navigation, social media shares up on the right. We've got this search listings bar that's styled out of the box to work with the Agent Press Listings plugin. We have three featured pages here in the middle, followed by 3 featured listings. And again, these are all populated by the Agent Press Listings plugin. We've got 4 communities and finally a couple of widget areas at the bottom. So I'm going to show you how to go from a scratch WordPress install to getting up and running like this, and it shouldn't take us too long. Okay, so first things first, you do need WordPress installed somewhere. I'm working here on my local desktop, but you may have a site online that you're, or a WordPress install out online that you're working on. Wherever you are, that's fine. Although I do suggest don't work on your live site. That's kind of scary. Do create a development environment where you can work and people won't see it until you're ready for them to see it. So first things first, I've already got Genesis installed, but I don't have the Winning Agent theme installed. So if we go over here to Appearances, Themes, we'll see, there it is. All I have is the Genesis framework. So I'm going to go ahead and click Add New so that I can upload the Winning Agent theme. Now, I already have this theme downloaded to my desktop. If you do not have it on your machine, then you can go grab it from my.studiopress.com or from my.winningagent.com, depending on where you actually purchased the theme. I'm going to go ahead and, oh, you know what? Before I activate it, I want to show you what the site we're looking like works on, or what the site looks like on the front end. So right now, the Genesis framework is activated, and that's the active theme. And I've got one lonely little sample post, and other than that, there's not too much going on here. So let's go ahead and activate the Winning Agent theme. And if we go back and refresh this, you'll see that already it's starting to look a little bit closer to the demo. So that's going to be step 1. Now, because this theme uses the Agent Press Listings plugin, I do want to go ahead and install that plugin. If you're not going to use Agent Press Listings, then you can skip this step. So I'm searching for Agent Press Listings, and there it is from the WordPress repository. We'll click Install, and there we go. Okay, and I've already got some other plugins installed. Don't worry about those. If we need them, then I will specifically mention them later. Okay, so heading back to our demo, of course, I'll refresh. Installing that plugin didn't do anything because we don't have any content yet. So if you already have an existing site and you've got some good content to work with, then you're probably good to just start tearing into it and setting up. On the other hand, if you're just starting out and you don't have any content yet, the theme actually comes with some dummy content that you can use to fill out your site. So to do that, we go to this WordPress Tools, Import. And we want to use the WordPress importer, so I'm going to select that last one from the list. Excuse me. I already had it installed, but you might get an additional pop-up in there asking you to install that plugin, and that's fine. And this tells us that we're looking for an XML file. So the XML file is actually included in the Winning Agent theme files. So if I were to unzip the theme I just uploaded and go look at it, I would see the Winning Agent Pro theme, and under that an XML folder, and under that a file called sample.xml. And that's what I want to open up and import. Now, the data that it's trying to bring in had a different user associated with it on the demo site. Her fictional name is Brianna Altman. And for our purposes, I'm just going to say assign those posts to to me, since I already have an account. Now this import attachments, it's not really going to do much for you. When it comes to the demo, the images that we're using in the demo were licensed specifically for Winning Agent and not licensed for redistribution with the theme. So we'll go ahead and click download and import file attachments so you can see what it does, but just wanted to warn you, we're going to get some errors here that things failed. So as you can see, we've failed to import these media. Oh, and then I have some duplicates because I was already in here messing around. But anyways, don't get too caught up on that. Just know that if it fails, that means that we're missing out on some images, and that's fine. So now, if we go to, you remember at the beginning, we just had that one little hello world post. And now if we go look at our posts, we'll see that it has imported all these demo posts from the demo. Listings, that's that AgentPress listings plugin. It has also managed to bring in a few sample listings, but you'll see that the thumbnail is quite absent. So we'll go back and add in some of our own images. Communities, same thing. You'll see some dummy communities brought in, and then also lastly under pages, you'll see that we have some good dummy content there. So first things first, let's make our menu. So if we're looking at the demo, let's see, we've got samples, colors, theme features, IDX integration, and contact. So I'm going to go to appearance, menus, and actually, because we imported that demo content, it went ahead and brought in our menus for us, which is pretty darn cool. I'm going to create, if you haven't created a menu in WordPress before, I'm going to create a new one just as a for demo purposes. So we type in the name of our menu, and then you can select whatever pages you want, add them to the menu. Links, that would be for maybe if you had onto a different site. Agent.com. Add that to menu. And then up here on the top right, there are these screen options. And you'll see there are actually a few more things that we can add to our menu, like our communities or our listings, even posts. So that's pretty cool. So, and you can see that whenever I check one of these, if you watch down on the bottom left there, right around here, it toggles the availability of that item. So let's say I want to add, let's say I want to add a drop down of communities, and the parent, I don't want it to be clickable. So I'm just going to call this link communities, and for the URL, I'm just going to use a # or hashtag. I'm going to add that to the menu. There it is. And then I'm going to come over to my communities, say select all, and add those. And then these just nest really nicely. You can pull them over. So that now this will be, oops, a submenu for communities. So I'm going to save that. And I'm going to go up here to this manage locations and say that I want my, actually, you know what? Winning Agent does not use, you can use these primary and secondary, but what's used in the demo is actually in the header right widget area. So let's go to widgets. We've got our header right widget area. Let's drag a custom menu in there and select our demo. Save that, and if we refresh, voila, you'll see that our menu is here and complete with our drop downs. Pretty cool. Okay, now to finish setting up this header area, let's get those social icons in. And that is going to be powered by the Simple Social Icons plugin. It's free from the WordPress repository. If you don't already have it installed, just go to plugins, add new, search for Simple Social Icons, and then install it from there. And what that'll do, of course I don't need to reinstall it, but if you go to Appearance Widgets, you'll see a widget called Simple Social Icons. And I want to add that to our header right area. Two ways you can do that. You can do what I'm doing right here and just say add the widget, or you can physically drag a widget into a spot. I don't want any title. I do want my links to open in a new window. And then, you know what, if we go to let's go to our theme. Winning Agent Setup Instructions. I want to set up the theme to look like the demo. Okay, so here we are. We are on we're on this header right widget area. We've already made it down through the custom header, the navigation. Okay, so header right. So there's our custom menu. Okay, and here are the settings for these simple social icons. Now this is just if you want it to look like the demo. Of course you can do anything you want here. And here are the hex color suggestions to match whatever color scheme. Now I'm just going to stay in the default color scheme. So I want this little window here to match what's here in my setup instructions. So I'm going to grab this, put it on my clipboard, had a line center, and there's that color. The next one's white. Background color is also white, or the and then the background hover color, last but not least. Let's say I'm going to put my Facebook on here, and I'm not going to type in real URLs because we don't care about all that, but let's just pretend. Okay, so here are three simple social icons. So now if I go refresh, boop, there they are. Now you'll notice these have a little bit of a rounded border, and in the demo they didn't have a rounded border, and I want it just like the demo. So that's going to be this border radius here. I'm going to make that 0, and if I'd followed my own instructions a little better, I would see that that actually had 0 in there. So that is going to be that. Okay. One more thing while we're up here. This is kind of long, and you know, I'll just leave it that way for now. Okay, so I'm going to come back to the middle, and I want to go all the way down to my footer area. Now you'll notice the widgets are conspicuously absent, like they are here on the demo. I'm going to copy, double check something here real fast. Yeah, that is a block quote. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to back to my appearance widgets, and you'll notice 2 footer widgets, 1 and 2. For footer widget number 1, I'm going to throw in just a text widget, and I'm going to copy directly what was on the demo because I'm too lazy to think of anything else right now. And save it. Let's look. Oh, okay, there's my footer. But wait, that looks nothing like the demo. What the heck, Carrie Dills? Well, let me go back to my theme setup instructions and make sure I follow directions. That's a search bar. Let's go to... Sorry, I'm out of control with my mouse here. Okay, how to configure the footer widget areas. Okie dokie. Oh, there's the ticket. I need to use this HTML markup for the block quote. I can actually just copy this and paste it right into this widget area, and for my site, which is basically means the reference, I'll put my name, oops, And then I'll grab this quote and put that inside of my block quote markup. And of course, let me get rid of that extra white space. So now if I save it and go back and look at my demo, how satisfying. It looks identical. Okay. Next step up, we have got this little About Brianna thing going on. Now in this case, we're using the Genesis user widget. So let me find, user profile widget, there it is. So I'm just going to drag that over to footer 2. And I don't care about a title. Well, I guess I could. About me. CDILs. Now, Gravatar, if you don't have one of these, go to gravatar.com and sign up for a free account and then upload an image. And the trick is use the same email address that's associated with your user account over here for your WordPress login. Okay, so according to user profile. Okay, so according to this, let's see, we're dropping that user profile. Oh, we do have a little title in there, so right on the money. Let's drop that in. Let's put my picture on the right. Let's give me a medium-sized photo. Now we have two options. I can either use the author bio, and the author bio is going to be under your user account settings. So if we were to go to my user profile and type in some business here, save that. Let me go back to my widgets. And I forgot to save that widget I was working on, so I wonder, oh, nope, still there. Okay, so I could use the author bio. So let's see how that looks. Oh, I'm tiny. Okay, so my other option is to use some custom text. And for this, I'm just going to type some things in. This is like cat on a keyboard. Okay, and I want my Gravatar to be aligned to the right, and let's bump it up to that large size. Save it, and let's try it again. Yeah, we're getting there. We're still a little bit hideous, but okay. Oh yeah, I forgot my title. About me, and call me. And if I wanted to, I could show a link to my author archives. That's really entirely up to you. If I wanted to link it to an About Me page, of course I don't have an About Me page, but we could just put a dummy page in there for you to see what that looks like, and you can see that it just links those up. So you can play with that. Lastly, in the demo, there is this, these are communities that are used in this bottom navigation area. So if we want to do that, that is actually the, let's go back to appearance menus. And when we were looking at locations earlier, remember I mentioned that we're not using the primary navigation menu. We can, it's available, but we don't happen to be using it here. And the secondary navigation menu actually appears down below in that footer. Now, since I imported the demo content, I already have a menu for those communities. So I'm just going to save that there, put that menu in that menu location, refresh, and voila. Of course, it looks like I've got some duplicates because I imported my demo content twice. Believe it or not, I practiced before I hit record on this video. Okay, but we could easily delete some of those duplicates by saying Edit Menu. We want to edit the Communities menu. And let's just get rid of these duplicates. Okay, there you go. That looks better. All right, so now we're kind of left with, this is technically my home page, but clearly it looks nothing like a demo. So let's walk through settings. Okie dokie. So first steps first, let's look at what our instructions say. Home page. Let me go back to the top. I'm back on my winning agent setup instructions. And there's a section called How to Configure the Home Page. Okay, here we go. So the home page is comprised of multiple widget areas. It's not showing our latest blog post. It's showing whatever we tell those widgets to show. So we have a home welcome widget area, and that's what basically corresponds to this Welcome to Winning Agent Pro. So let's do that first. So we'll go to Appearance, Widgets, Home Welcome, and we're just using a text widget in the demo. And let's see, I'm using, and according to the demo screenshot, we're filling out the title and not really using this secondary box. Though of course you could if you wanted to. It's no reason you can't. Welcome to my demo. Save it. And all right, we're starting to see some things take shape here. So next up, let's look at the next widget area is a search bar. Now, again, we're using the AgentPress Listings search bar in the demo. So we'll go Well, my instructions don't really go in order here on this page. That's fine. We can wing it. Okay, so for the search bar, we want to drag in an AgentPress Listings search. And let's see, let's check search properties. What do I say on the demo here? I don't have a title. My button says search listings. So I'll do that. And there we go. So right now, I guess that the way the demo content came in, I only have this one features taxonomy defined, and we can, oh goodness, the phone's ringing. So we can fix that in a second. Actually, let's fix it now while we're thinking about it. So if we go up to listings, let's say we want to register a taxonomy. And a taxonomy, just think of it, it's a fancy word for category. It's a way of grouping things. So let's say number of bedrooms. That's usually a way that homes are grouped. So we'll say bedrooms, bedroom for singular name. Add that taxonomy, and there we go. So now if I go back to one of my listings, and let's just say, oops, sorry, I'm totally lying to. Let me go to bedrooms, and I'm going to do one, add new bedroom, 1, 2. This is kind of silly, but let's just see how it works. So if I go back to listings, edit, and then for this property, I want to say it's a 2-bedroom property and update that. Okay, so now if I go back to my widget area, search bar, open that up, you'll see that bedrooms now appears. So if I want, if we just refresh now, no difference, it's only features. But if I go back and say bedrooms and save it, boop, there we go. And of course, if I search that, let's just see what happens. Oh, there they go. There my listings come. That's exciting. Okay, so let's go back to the home page and continue our mission of setting it up. Okay, so next up we have a series, and it's called Home Featured 1, Featured 2, and Featured 3. And according to the demo, that's going to correspond to these areas. So this is Home Featured 1, Selling, Home Featured 2, Renting, Home Featured 3. Now what we're using here is just the Genesis Featured Page widget. So I'm going to find that widget. There it is, Genesis Featured Page. I'm going to drag it over, and I'm going to say, yeah, we'll just call it Buying. I'm going to link it up. You can choose any page, but I'm going to link it to my buyer's page. I do want to show the featured image, and the theme comes with a special size here, and it's called Feature Small. And I do want to show, do I want to show the page? I definitely don't want to show the content. Let me save that, see how it looks. Oop, there it is. Okay, now here's the thing. It's not linked and you don't see the fancy image, this little ghosted image like you do in the demo. So what the heck? Well, that's because this is using a what's called a featured image. So let's go to, let's see, we selected the buyer's page here for that. So let's go to pages, find that buyer's page, and featured image. We don't have a featured image. So I'm going to grab one. And because I'm a cheater, pumpkin eater, I'm going to steal the image being used on the site. Don't tell anybody. Don't do this at home. The IRS could come after you. The FBI. They could. I'm just kidding. Nobody's going to come after you, but don't be stealing. Okay, so I've got myself an image, and I'll just upload that to say this is please my featured image. Upload it. And voila, now I'm refreshed and you see that goes to the image. And now that the image is present, it's linking because what the code is actually looking for is to put that link tag around the image. So that's got to be there. You can see from the way it's cropping the image, some images are going to work better. I mean, obviously you're not going to get the full image there. So, you know, use your best judgment, but that's the basics of how you set it up. So same thing, let's go back to Home Featured 2, drag in a widget area, and call it sellers or selling, and let's see if I have a sellers page. Oh, I do. Show the featured image, set it to be at that feature small size, and leave the rest of this at its default. Refresh, and same thing, we'll need to add a featured image there to make that work. I'm not going to do that now since we just went over it. But last but not least, let's add a featured page to that home featured area 3. Boop. And let's call this renters. And there was a renters page. And there you go. Okay. So here you can see we've got, we're making some good progress. You know what? We should probably do that background image while we're at it because it looks kind of ugly there in the gray. So here, back under appearance, we're going to go to the background menu and the world is my oyster. A good rule of thumb here is to use, obviously you can see from the wide, it's wider than it is tall. So a good rule of thumb is to go with a 3:1 width-height ratio. For example, if your picture or your photo image is 1200 pixels wide and you're doing a 3:1 ratio, then your height would be about 400 pixels wide. So cropping your image to 1200 by 400. Also keep in mind with the way backstretch works, let's go over here to the demo, based on the screen resize, you can see that different image or different pieces of the image become visible or not visible. That's why you got to be really careful with the image you pick here. Like for instance, somebody's head is probably not going to work real well because you might end up with their head totally chopped off on some screen views. So the idea is to use a nice landscape image where the image still has good meaning and impact, even if only a portion of it is being shown or if the full thing is being shown. So just keep that in mind when you're picking out your image. Okay, so going back to appearance, background, and I just downloaded that image, and let's go ahead and upload that. And here's the deal. None of these display options matter because we're using a script called backstretch. This just doesn't matter, so don't even worry yourself about that. Step saved. Okay, so if we go and refresh our dummy site here, we will see that this is starting to shape up pretty nicely. Hey, what are those guys? I thought I said 0 on those borders. Let's go back and look because we cannot have that. No, somehow my widget didn't get saved there. Save it. There we go. Okay. So we've got our 3 featured pages, and of course on your own you can go back and make sure that those have featured images associated with them. I've had some people ask about making this, say, splitting it into 4 widgets instead of 3 widgets. And what you would essentially have to do there is register a new 4th widget area. It does take some coding skills, I guess, is the bottom line, but you'd have to register one, you know, say call it home featured 4. And then from there, you would need to add in corresponding styles on your style sheet. Let's just say that these are roughly 33% a piece right now, and you would have to change out all those corresponding styles to be roughly 25%. So it is certainly possible, but it does take a working knowledge of a little bit of PHP and definitely more CSS. Okay, so moving on to the demo setup here. Next section is featured listings. So let's try that out. We have a home listings widget area, and the widget that's being used here is the AgentPress featured listings widget. And there's really not much to this widget. Let's give it a title, and we only want 3 because that's what the theme is set up to look best with. And let's refresh it, and there are 3 featured listings. Now, conspicuously absent are the photos, because you'll remember when we did our dummy data import, the photos didn't come with it. So just by way of a sample, let's edit this listing and add, I'm just going to add the exact same, we're just going to add this image over and over to be quicker about it. But now, if I view this listing, voila, you'll notice that it puts that featured image at the top of the listing page. The theme just automatically does that for you. And then if we go back to our home page, you'll see that now this featured image has, what's the word I'm trying to say? It's got that background image, but it's funky. Why is it only showing a little bit of that? I don't like that, and it's funky. Here is where an extra plugin could come in really handy. If you had any images in your media library before you installed the Winning Agent theme, then do yourself a favor. Go to Add Plugins, look for the Regenerate Thumbnails plugin, install it, and then once you've installed it, I've already got it going on here, under your Tools menu, it'll show Regenerate Thumbnails. And we can say Regenerate All Thumbnails. And what that does is go through your image library. Now I've got only 2 images in there, so it took a nanosecond, but it goes through each image and recrops it according to whatever your theme has specified as your featured image sizes. So when we go back to widgets and say this home featured widget, for example, these image sizes, those are all coming from, now thumbnail is default in WordPress, but these 3 are coming from the Winning Agent theme. So that whenever you upload an image, it keeps your original image dimensions and size, but then also creates a cropped version at these specific dimensions. So if you already had an image in your media library before you installed Winning Agent, then it wasn't cropped to these special dimensions. But if you run that Regenerate Thumbnails plugin, it'll go recrop and you Okay, sorry, I'm back. I had to take a little break there. So where we left off, we were working on these home featured listings images, and oops, that's the demo site, and I want to be on the site that we're building. We were working on these featured listings, and we're noticing that this photo, the first one, is a little funky. We ran Regenerate Thumbnails, but it looks like the issue is that photo actually needs to be not such a drastic ratio. So what we can do, I'm going to go back into my dashboard over here. Now I could just go into a Photoshop or whatever image editor you're comfortable using and edit that photo. But another way I can do it is to go into the WordPress media library and edit the image, and I'm going to crop it, and let's say like this, and that's more reasonable in terms of kind of a normal photo looking size. Hit crop. One quick thing to mention, you can't see the URL over here. Right now it's this SP Estate homepage, but when I save it, I'm going to say apply it to all the images. Go ahead and save that crop, and what will happen, it has actually created a new image so that my original image is intact. And you'll see now that it's added in this long string of characters at the end. So anyways, it's kind of nice. I'm not messing with my original image. So let's go back to our listings. Park Avenue. Let's swap out this for okay. Well, let me double check. I don't trust that. Okay, it looks like we've got our new image going on here, so I think we're good to go. Update the post, and oops, sorry, I'm all over the place. Ah, there it goes. That looks much better. Okay, so the key there was cropping the image to maybe more of a 2-to-1 ratio instead of a 3-to-1 ratio, like we were using for this background image up top. And while I took a little break from you, I did go ahead and upload a second image for that listing. Anyways, and of course you can do it for the third there. So at this point, we've got our home welcome widget area. We've got our search bar widget area. We've got 3 featured pages using the Genesis featured pages widgets. We've got the Agent Press featured listings. And then lastly, if we want it to look like a demo, excuse me, we've got this community section down here on the bottom. So let's look at that. So we've already got some dummy communities entered from that data that and these are not going to have images associated with them. That's okay. We'll take care of that in a second. But to set up that widget area on the home page, we're going to go to Appearance, Widgets. By now, you should be getting pretty comfy in this screen. Open up my Home Communities widget area, and the Winning Agent Pro theme comes with a Featured Communities widget right here. And we're just going to drag that over. And let's give it a title. These are our featured communities. The demo shows 4. That's what's set up, styled to look best. Post to offset. So here's some options when you're configuring this. And let me open up my communities in a different window so you can see. So I've got these posts, and you can see, like in this screen, for example, they're ordered alphabetically. But you know, there's also a date, and there's not really too many different dates going on there, but there's dates associated with those. There's the title. So when we go back and look at our widgets or our widget settings, there's a couple of different ways that we can order those communities. You can do it by date, by the title, and of course you can sort it A to Z or Z to A, and a couple of others. Comment count, you could randomly pull some in. If you're not using comments on your community, then clearly that would be, you know, you wouldn't want to sort by that. Anyhow, we're going to sort ours by the title, descending, and I'm not going to do featured image yet because I just want to show it to you. And I'm just going to save it, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, so what we have here is, of course, not looking like the demo. It looks like we have some excerpt comment, but no post title. So let's go back to our widget options. Let's show the post title and say we don't want any content. Okay. Let's refresh. Okay. now we're talking. Now we just need some images in there. So we go back to the, let's show featured image. And feature community is going to be the option that we want there. So let's save that. And if we go back and look, oops, I need more space on my hard drive apparently. There are no images, so of course it's not going to show them even though we've said show images. So what we need to do is I'm going to click into each of these and edit that page and just add in a featured image. I'm going to use a featured image that's just already in my media library because that's easier. So if I scroll down now, I'll see for Schaumburg, we've got that first image. So I won't roll through that for each of those options, but essentially that's how you do it. Okay, that is, I mean, clearly we've got a little bit incomplete, but basically in less than 45 minutes we have a home page set up to look like the demo. And just for a bonus, let's go through and set up a sidebar to look like the demo. So let's just click through to a sample page. And we are using what's called a content and then primary sidebar layout. Of course, you can, Genesis gives you the options to flip these. So if I were to edit this page, I could select a different layout setting, say throw my sidebar on the left side of the page, and I will get this effect. And of course, you can make that a site-wide setting via your Genesis theme settings, or you can do it on a per page basis, like we just did here. So I'm going to change that back to the default settings for now. Okay, so to populate that sidebar widget, we're going to go back to our appearance widgets. And there we are, primary sidebar. So right now there's absolutely nothing here. And if we look at our demo, let's click through to the sample page on our demo. Okay, so we've got those Genesis featured pages again, like we did on the home page. We've got an email sign up and a little call to action. So let's go through setting all those up real quickly. Quick tip, if you are going to set up these buying, selling, renting, or use those, if you want those to be identical to what's on your home page, so these three widget areas, boop, 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 I'm going to show you a little shortcut. Now you could drag 3 instances of the Genesis featured page over there and go through the setup just like you did for this home featured 1, 2, and 3. But there is a handy dandy plugin out there called Duplicate Widgets that does exactly what you think it would do, which is to duplicate your widgets. So we're going to activate that plugin and go back to our appearance widgets and open up our primary sidebar. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Duplicate. So I'm going to drag over duplicate, and it lets me choose the widget that I want to duplicate, and I want to do this Genesis featured page buying. Boop. There I go. So if I run back and look at all over the place, go back to my sample page. There it is. There's my buying widget, and that's just recreated that same widget, but in my sidebar. So let's do that a couple more times, and that saves us a little bit of time. Don't have to do the exact same thing twice. So there's one for buying, there's one for selling, and lastly there's the one for renting. So just like that, boom, boom, boom. And of course, remember we didn't have, I didn't add featured images to those yet, so that's why they don't look quite so pretty and are not clickable. Next up on the demo, whoops, go to the sample page, we have got this email sign up. Now that is using the Genesis eNews Extended plugin. So if we go to look at my plugins, and that one's free, it's in the WordPress repository, Genesis eNews Extended, and that adds this widget area. So I'm going to go and just, oops, that's not it. Oh, there it is. Drag that into my primary sidebar and give this some instruction. And there's some additional information to fill out here, and I'm not going to take the time to do that in this, but I actually have, I have a video showing how to do this. And if we go to, what is my YouTube channel? Well, you know what the easiest way is? Do a Google search if my Wi-Fi ever decides to come back online, which apparently it's not. Whew, okay, finally we're up. Okay, so do a Google search for carriedeals.com, and this is a search tip for any domain. If you know what website something's on but can't remember where exactly it is, put the domain in, put a colon, and then follow it by whatever your search term is. So in this case, I'll do Genesis eNews Extended. And there, voila, using the Genesis eNews Extended plugin with MailChimp. So I've got a little tutorial there that'll walk you through the steps if you're using MailChimp. If you're not, there's actually, in the WordPress repository, when you download the eNews Extended plugin, there are, where is it, installation notes. You can go to Brandon Kraft, he's the author of this post, and you can go to his website and see instructions for installing this on a Weber or Feedblitz. Bonus tip, if you're using Constant Contact, you don't want to use this plugin. Constant Contact is just kind of funky to work with, and you're going to spend a lot of time and frustration, so just skip this plugin and use a Constant Contact specific form. Anyways, okay, so back to, we've pulled the widget area over here, and I'm just making up a form action because this is just an example. Email and subscribe. There we go. So now if I go refresh my demo, there's my newsletter sign up. And then the last part of the sidebar I have here, this will be a winning agent, blah, 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 and then a button to buy this theme. Now, this is cool because the theme comes with a built-in button style that all you need is a tiny bit of HTML. And if I go back and reference the original winning agent setup instructions, right here at the very end, how to use button styles. So if you forget what this video says right now, don't worry, because you can go back and check this out later. So with that said, we're going to use a text widget just like the demo. Hello, do this and do that. I do want to add paragraph markup, and let's make a button. This is a button. In order to, well, first let's make it a link. So I'm going to add some basic HTML, which is a href equals colon, let's just make up a link, in bracket. So I've got my href equals, that's not a colon, that's a double quote, URL, end double quote, end bracket, whatever that thing's called. And then let's tell it that the link is over. So to do that, we do closing a tag. So if we go and look at that right now, what we'll see is just a link, regular old link. So in order to make it a button, we just add the CSS class of button. And that looks like this. Let me go space, class equals button. And then close out my quotes. And just like that, there is my button. And you can actually do that in page content too. So for example, let me copy this. Let me go to my sample page, edit it, and at the very end. Now the thing is, you want to be in text mode, not the visual editor mode if you're going to add HTML, which we are. We pop that in there. Update. and save it, and then at the very bottom there's a button. So cool. All right, well that is it. We are just right under an hour with a mostly set up theme for the winning agent. Anyhow, I hope you have learned something today. Feel free to leave comments. If you need official theme support, we do have that available for you. All you have to do is go to winningagent.com. And there's this little contact us down here. Or if you don't want to even remember all that, just email support@winningagent.com and we'll get you taken care of right away. And that's it. Thanks for hanging out with me, and have fun setting up your theme.